मी यशोधन काळे, कोऑर्डिनेटर नेट प्रोग्राम, तुम्हाला आज ग्राफ या संबंधीची माहिती या प्रकरणामध्ये देणार आहे की टू इंटरसेक्टिंग लाईन्स डिटरमाइन्स वन अँड ओनली वन प्लेन or two parallel lines determine one and only one plane. Out of these, we'll consider two intersecting lines, and to fix a plane, we'll consider two intersecting lines. And to take the advantage of Pythagoras theorem, we know Pythagoras theorem. So to take the benefit of Pythagoras theorem, we take perpendicular lines as a reference axis. For convenience, horizontal line is known as x-axis and vertical line is known as y-axis. These are actually number lines. We know number line means there is one correspondence between a point and a real number. This is the principle of number line. So we know how to draw number line. We have to take any point as origin, and on both sides of that, at equal distances, we mark numbers. On the right side positive and on left side negative. Also in set theory, we have considered Cartesian product. So the plane means, plane is a set of points, and these point means they represent the ordered pairs of cross product of x and y axis, because x axis and y axis are number line. So their Cartesian product, that is a set of ordered pairs, and every ordered pair represents a point on the plane. So to decide or to fix a plane on the to fix a point on the plane, we'll consider ordered pairs. X coordinate of a point is a perpendicular distance of point from y-axis. To fix a point from, or to fix a position of a point from reference axis, we have to consider two coordinates x and y. X coordinate of a point is a perpendicular distance of that point from y-axis, and y coordinate of a point is a perpendicular distance of point from x-axis. Point of intersection of both axes is taken as origin, and it is 0, 0 because it represents 0 on x-axis as well as 0 on y-axis. On x-axis, right side of 0 is positive direction of x-axis and left side of 0 as negative direction of x-axis. These are conventions. In graph, we know that upward direction on y-axis is positive and downward direction of y-axis is negative. On every axis, equidistant points are marked to represent numbers with convenient scale. Here we can take convenient scale, that is 0.5 centimeter is equal to 1 unit, or 1 centimeter is equal to 1 unit, or 2 centimeter is equal to 1 unit as per our requirement. Now how to plot points on the graph? In order pair of coordinates, first term is always x coordinate and second is always y coordinate. It is convention. Find vertical line corresponding to x coordinate on x axis. x coordinate समजा 2 असेल तर आपण x axis वरची 2 ही vertical line बघणार. x coordinate जर समजा -3 असेल तर x axis वरती -3 कुठे आहे तिथली ती vertical line बघणार. Then find horizontal line corresponding to y coordinate on y axis. मग y coordinate जर 3 असेल तर y axis वरचा 3 बघायचा आणि त्याची horizontal line पाहिजे. समजा y coordinate -4 असेल तर y axis वरती ओरिजिनच्या खाली म्हणजे x axis च्या खालच्या बाजूला -4 असेल त्याची horizontal line पाहिजे. आणि या दोन लाईनचा जो पॉइंट ऑफ इंटरसेक्शन, that is a required point. Then find horizontal line, their point of intersection is required point. Now these points are given. Plot following points on graph. Now see that first point is 2, 3. So here this is 2. First x coordinate is 2. So this 2 is on x axis and it's vertical line. Now y coordinate is 3. So 3 horizontal line, and the point of intersection this is 2, 3. Now here 3 means x coordinate is 4, y coordinate is 3. So consider 4 on x axis, consider 3 on y axis. Their point of intersection is 4, 3 here. Then -3, -2. So x coordinate is -3 on this side, y coordinate is -2 on below that x-axis, the point of intersection represents minus 3, minus 2. Similarly, minus 1, minus 4, 3, minus 2. Here 3 is positive and 2 y coordinate is negative. So 3 vertical line and minus 2. So this represents 3, minus 2. Then 4, minus 3. Then minus 4, 2. Now x coordinate negative and y coordinate positive. So minus 4 and y coordinate 2. So this horizontal line, this point represents minus 4, 2. Then minus 3 and 4 as it is. This is minus 3 and this 4. So here minus 3, 4. Now these two intersecting lines make 4 parts of plane. म्हणजे ह्या दोन ज्या एकमेकी छेदणाऱ्या रेषा आहेत त्या प्रतलात ते 4 भाग करतात. त्याला फर्स्ट क्वाड्रंट म्हणजे पहिला चतुर्थक, देन दिस इज सेकंड क्वाड्रंट, दुसरा चतुर्थक, थर्ड क्वाड्रंट तिसरा चतुर्थक आणि फोर्थ क्वाड्रंट म्हणजे चौथा चतुर्थक असं म्हणण्याचा प्रघात आहे. हे दिस इज अगेन साइन कन्व्हेन्शन. फर्स्ट क्वाड्रंट, सेकंड क्वाड्रंट, थर्ड क्वाड्रंट अँड फोर्थ क्वाड्रंट. नाउ observe the signs of points in the quadrants and fill up this table. You will observe that in the first quadrant both coordinates are positive. In second quadrant here x negative side, so x coordinate negative and y coordinate positive. In third quadrant this is on negative x axis and negative y axis, so both coordinates are negative. And in this quadrant this is positive direction of x axis, this is negative direction of x axis, so x positive and y negative. So considering these points and this graph, you have to fill up this table, that is your activity. Now these points are given minus 3, 2, minus 3, 4, minus 3, 5, minus 3, minus 4. Here x coordinate is everywhere minus 3. Means all these points should be on one line which represents minus 3. One vertical line which represents minus 3. So this minus 3 is on x axis and all these points they are on the same line. Now just observe that if possible draw a line through these points. So we got one line on this. Now state characteristics of this. Now what is the characteristic of this graph? So this graph is parallel to y-axis. And what is common characteristics in coordinates of these points? Now if we consider all these coordinates, then x coordinate is constant. So we can say that if x coordinate is constant, then all these points are on a line parallel to y-axis. So the equation of this line, we can say that it is x is equal to constant. As x is equal to constant, every point, x coordinate of every point on this line is constant. So this line is parallel to y-axis. Now observe this. Here 3 minus 2, 4 minus 2, 5 minus 2, minus 3 minus 2, 1 minus 2. Means y coordinate is constant everywhere. So all these points, they are on y equal to minus 2 line. This horizontal line, all these points are on this line. Again from these all points we can draw a straight line, and this straight line is parallel to x-axis. Means if a line is parallel to x-axis, then y coordinate of all these points is constant. So the equation of this line, we can say that y is equal to b, where b constant. If y coordinate is constant, then line is parallel to x-axis, and if x coordinate constant, then line is parallel to y-axis. Every point, if we consider every point on x-axis, its y coordinate is 0, because every point on x-axis, its distance from y-axis is 0, and therefore y coordinate of every point on x-axis is 0. Therefore equation of x-axis is taken as y equal to 0. Similarly on y-axis, every point, if we consider every point on this and coordinates of the points, then here this represents a 0 on x-axis, and therefore x coordinate of every point on y-axis is 0, and therefore the equation of y-axis is considered as x is equal to 0. Now we'll revise this. When x is equal to 0, this equation represents y-axis. Y equal to 0, this equation represents x-axis. X is equal to constant, this represents a line parallel to y-axis. Y is equal to constant, it represents line parallel to x-axis. Now consider this graph. 1, 3, 2, 4, minus 2, 0, minus 3, minus 1, minus 4, minus 2, and 3, 5. Last is 0, 2. And draw a line from all these points. Plot these points and draw a line through these points. What is common relation between x and y? Now from these relations, we have to find out the common relation. See that here 2 2s are 4. There 2 plus 2 4. 1 plus 2 3. Minus 2 plus 2 0. Minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1. So what is the common relation between x and coordinates? It is y is equal to x plus 2. So equation of this line is y is equal to x plus 2. Equation of line means the relation between coordinates of every point on the line. So which points satisfies this equation can be on this line. Now 7 9 point is given as 7 9. Now here y is equal to x plus 2. So here again 7 plus 2 is 9. So this point should be on this line. If we consider point 3 9, then 3 plus 2 cannot be equal to 9. Therefore that point cannot be on this line. And therefore what is the equation of a line? Equation of a line is the relation between coordinates of every point on the line, and which point satisfies this equation or that lies on the line. If point cannot satisfy this equation, the point cannot lie on the line. Now this 1 1 2 2 3 3 minus 2 minus 2, clearly we observe that y is equal to x. These two coordinates are equal, 1 1 2 2 3 3, and draw this line. Now this line passes through origin. So this relation is y is equal to x. Y is equal to x is the equation of this line, and this line passes through origin. Now consider mirror image. We know that in mirror, object and image of the object is behind the mirror at the same distance as the object is from the mirror. So here point P34 is image in x-axis. So distance should be the same. So this distance equal to this distance. And therefore, if this one is plus 4, this is minus 4. So image of P34 in positive direction of x-axis is 3 minus 4. Now this positive direction of y-axis. Now here P34, this distance should be equal to this distance. And this is x coordinate. So this distance is 3, this is also 3, but as it is on the negative side of x-axis, this point is minus 3 4. So the reflection image of point P in positive direction of y-axis is minus 3 4. Similarly, we can find the image of this P minus 3 4 in negative direction of x-axis, and this image is in positive direction of x-axis. Now we can find the image of this point P 3 minus 4 in negative axis, negative direction of x-axis. So image of this will be here, image of this will be again here, and they coincide with each other. So as this principle, you find out the image of P minus 3 4 in negative direction of x-axis and image of P 3 minus 4 in negative direction of y-axis. Here activity is given, find the reflection of point half and root 3 by 2 in positive direction of y-axis, negative direction of y-axis, negative direction of x-axis, and positive direction of x-axis. This is activity. Now consider these points: minus 3, minus 5, minus 2, minus 3, minus 1, minus 7, 0, 1, 1, 3, and 2, 5. Now consider these coordinates. You have to find out the relation between these two. Now see that twice of x plus 1 gives us minus 5. Minus 3 twice is minus 6. Minus 6 plus 1 is minus 5. Minus 2 twice is minus 4. Minus 1 plus 1 is minus 3. So y is equal to 2x plus 1 is the relation between the coordinates of x and y from this line. So y equal to 2x is the equation of this line. If any point satisfies this equation, then that point can be on this line. If point cannot satisfy this equation, then that point cannot be on this line. Now observe this, here y is equal to 2x plus 1. This line cannot pass through origin. If y is equal to 2x, if we remove 1 from this, then y equal to 2x, then constant term absent, then that line passes through origin. Now consider again this minus 4, minus 5. The equation of this is y is equal to 2x plus 3. Now again these lines cannot pass through origin. Draw the graphs. To draw graph, when equation of line is given, up to this now, before this one, we consider points and we tried to find out the relation between x and y. Now, a relation between x and y is given and we have to prepare the points and to plot their graph. Now, y equal to 2x minus 1. We can take convenient values of x. So, x is equal to minus 1, then minus 1 into 2 is minus 2, minus 1 means minus 3. When x is equal to 0, 2 into 0 is 0, 0 minus 1 is minus 1. So substitute values of x in the equation and find out corresponding values of y. So we get these points: 1 minus 3, 0 minus 1, 1 1, 2 3, and here 3 5. 3 2s are 6, 6 minus 1 is 5. Now another equation is y is equal to minus half into x plus 1. Now here half x. So it's convenient to take the values of x which are divisible by 2. Of course, we can take any values, but for convenience, we'll take the values of x which are divisible by 2, because here it is half x, means x upon 2. If it is x upon 3, we'll consider values of x divisible by 3 for convenience. So minus 4 into half means minus minus plus 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. Substitute minus 2 here and we'll get 2, etc. and we'll get the points minus 4 3, minus 2 2, 0 1, 2 0, 4 minus 2. Now plot these points in the graph. This is the line which represents y is equal to 2x minus 1, and this line represents y is equal to minus half x plus 1. Are these lines perpendicular to each other? Now this is the point of intersection. If you observe this angle, in every one, this is, all these are right angles, means this line y equal to minus half x plus 1 is perpendicular to line y is equal to 2x minus 1. Now consider these lines: y is equal to 2x plus 1, y is equal to 2x plus 3, y is equal to 2x minus 1, y is equal to minus half x plus 1. Again, we have prepared tables x and y, x, y. Then here again substitute the values of x. We find out the values of y, and these are the points on this line. Similarly, again here we prepared a table for this, and using these tables and the coordinates of points, we draw these graphs of these lines. This is y equal to 2x minus 1. Then this is y is equal to 2x plus 1. And this line is y is equal to minus half x plus 1. Now this line, see, y equal to 2x plus 3, y is equal to 2x plus 1, then y is equal to 2x minus 1. All these three lines are parallel to each other. And this line, y is equal to minus half x plus 1, is perpendicular to all these three lines. Now these three lines are parallel. So if this line is perpendicular to one line, should be perpendicular to remaining three. Now let us observe the equations. And can we form a definite rule for parallel lines? Now when lines are parallel, the coordinates of x are same. See, y equal to 2x plus 7, y equal to 2x plus 3, y is equal to 2x minus 1. So coordinate of x in equation, if coordinates are x are same, then the lines are parallel to each other. Of course, the equation should be expressed in the form y equal to mx plus c. Y on left side, x and constant term on the right side. Now as these constant terms are non-zero, these lines cannot pass through origin. Now h is perpendicular to E, h is perpendicular to F, h is perpendicular to G. E, F, G are parallel lines and h is perpendicular line. If equations of lines in the form y equal to mx plus c, then equation of a line means relation between coordinates of every point on the line. Equation of line is linear. Why it's linear? Because degree of y is 1, degree of x is 1. And if equation is linear, then its graph is always straight line. Line does not pass through origin. If c is equal to 0, then y equal to mx. Then the line representing y equal to mx always passes through origin. But if c is non-zero, then line cannot pass through origin. If coefficients of x are equal, lines are parallel to each other. If product of coefficients of x is minus 1, then lines are perpendicular to each other. See this here, coefficient of x is 2 and here coefficient of x is minus half. Minus half into 2 is minus 1. Here again 2 into minus half is minus 1. 2 into minus half is minus 1. And therefore H is perpendicular to lines E, F and G. Now using these coordinates we can find out distance formula, that is the distance between 2 points in the plane. If coordinates are known, we can find out the distance between the points in a plane using this formula. See how to prove this. This is x-axis, this one is origin, coordinate 0, 0. This point P x1, y1. Now its vertical distance, that is perpendicular distance from x-axis, is x1. So this is y1, this coordinate is y1. And as this M is a point on x-axis, its y coordinate should be 0. So this is x1, 0. Then consider another point Q with coordinates x2, y2. Now this Qn is a perpendicular distance from x-axis. So this complete distance is y2. Now P, L, N, M, these two are perpendicular and PL is perpendicular to Qn. So all these three angles are 90 degrees, so this should be 90 degrees. So PMNL is a rectangle. This should be equal to, again, as this is y1, this should be equal to y1. Now this total Qn is y2. So QL is y2 minus y1. Now from origin O up to N is x2 and OM is x1. Therefore Mn is equal to x2 minus x1. And again opposite sides of rectangle are congruent. So PL is equal to x2 minus x1. Now consider triangle PLQ. L is right angle. So we can apply Pythagoras theorem here. And therefore PQ square is equal to PL square plus QL square. And PQ square is equal to x2 minus x1 bracket square plus y2 minus y1 bracket square. So PQ is equal to square root of x2 minus x1 bracket square plus y2 minus y1 bracket square. This is the distance formula. Now here x1, y1 and x2, y2 are arbitrary. We can take x1 minus x2 bracket square or y1 minus y2 bracket square. From given 2 points, we can consider any one of them as x1, y1 and other x2, y2 because these are arbitrary points. Now say remark. If P x1, y1 is equal to 0, 0 means distance of point P from origin. Now P is origin and Q xy. Then the distance PQ is equal to x minus 0 bracket square, that is x square, y minus 0 bracket square, that is y square. Consider examples now. Find distance between points minus 3 and minus 2, minus 1. Now these are arbitrary. So we can consider this as x1, y1 and this as x2, y2. Of course, you can consider this as x1, x2, y2 and this x1, y1 also. We can consider any one of them as x1, y1 and x2, y2. Because in here square of difference. So a minus b bracket square is same as b minus a bracket square. So here minus 3 minus of minus 2 bracket square plus minus 3 minus 1 bracket square minus minus plus. So minus 3 plus 2 bracket square and minus 3 and minus 1 is minus 4 bracket square. So distance is root 17. Now 2 and 3, these examples are activities for you. You find out distance between these points. Now the another example is examine whether following 3 points are collinear. We know that if points P, Q, R are collinear, that is they are on the same line, then sum of 2 distances must be equal to the third distance. So if Q is between P and R, then PQ plus QR is equal to PR. If R is between P and Q, then PR plus QR is equal to PQ. Like this. Now here from distance formula, find out distance PQ. It is root 17. PR is again root 17 and QR is root of 68. Now 17 4s are 68 and square root of 4 is 2. So this can be expressed as 2 root of 17. Next, if A is a point on y-axis and P54 is a point such that AP is equal to 13, find coordinate of A. A is a point on y-axis. Now we know that a point on x coordinate of a point on y-axis is 0. So we'll consider coordinates of A as 0, B and apply distance formula. Distance is given 13. So 169 is equal to b square minus 8a plus 41. Now transfer this 169 on this side, means b square minus 8b plus 41 is equal to minus 169 equal to 0. Now this is 128. Now it is quadratic equation, and we know how to factorize this quadratic equation. Means factorize 128 minus 128 such that the sum of factors should be equal to minus 8. Now 16 8s are 128. Now it is minus 1. So minus 16 plus 8 is minus 8. And minus 16 into 8 is minus 28. So factors are b minus 16 and b plus 8 equal to 0. So as the product of 2 is 0, the b minus 16 equal to 0 and b plus 8 is equal to 0. Therefore b is equal to 16 or minus 8. And therefore coordinates of A 0, 16 or 0, minus 8. Now, using graph, we can find out the solutions of these equations. These equations are simultaneous equations. Why they are simultaneous equations? X plus y equal to 5. If we consider x is 1, then y equal to 4. If x is equal to minus 1, y equal to 6. Means values of y changes according to values of x. What's the change in value of x is same change in value of y. Therefore, these equations are known as simultaneous equations because x and y they change simultaneously. म्हणजे एकाच वेळेला त्यांच्यामध्ये सारखाच बदल होतो, म्हणून त्यांना सामायिक समीकरणे असं म्हणतात, म्हणजेच सायमल्टेनियस इक्वेशन्स असं म्हणतात. अगेन these are linear equations. See, degree of x and y 1. Here also degree of x and y is 1. So these are linear equations. म्हणजे ह्यांना एक रेषीय समीकरण म्हणतात, कारण यांचे आलेख हे एक रेषा येते. मग 2x minus y is equal to 4. Again, substitute values of x for convenience. Now see that 2 points determine always a line. But 2 points are always collinear. So to find out a specific line, we should consider points more than 2, minimum 3. Now 0, x is equal to 0. So you will get the value of y. Then x is equal to 1 and 3, etc. Find out values of y and we get the points. Now similarly here in this equation, x plus y is equal to 5. Substitute values of x and find out values of y. So we got these 3 points. Remember that 2 points are always collinear point. We should consider more than 2 points. That is minimum 3 points. Now these are the graphs of the lines. This is x plus y equal to 5 and this is 2x minus y equal to 4. So this point is common. Means these are the common values of x and y. Means x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 2. These values satisfy both equation and therefore this is the solution of equation. Means drawing the graphs of given simultaneous equations, we can find out the common solution, that is the solution of simultaneous equations.